handling knob and tube wiring inquiries, there are several important aspects to consider. Firstly, testing and reporting on the system is crucial. It's essential to thoroughly test the knob and tube system to determine its activity and location within the house. A detailed report should be provided, outlining the results of the testing. This report must include confirmation of whether the knob and tube wiring is active or inactive, along with specific areas where active knob and tube wiring is present. It is important to emphasize that testing should be performed by a qualified electrician who has experience in dealing with knob and tube wiring. Secondly, if active knob and tube wiring is found, offering a quote for replacing or bypassing the wiring is necessary. Explain to the homeowner the potential risks and safety concerns that are associated with knob and tube wiring. Discuss the benefits of either replacing or bypassing the system, which can include improved safety and potentially reduced insurance premiums. It's also important to provide a detailed plan for the replacement or bypass work, so the homeowner understands the scope of the project. In addition to testing and quoting, there are other considerations to keep in mind. Provide the homeowner with an informational brochure about knob and tube wiring. This brochure should explain the risks associated with this type of wiring and recommend possible solutions. If replacement services are not offered, refer the homeowner to reputable contractors who specialize in knob and tube wiring replacement. Emphasize the severity of the situation by explaining that insurance companies often require knob and tube remediation as a condition for coverage. Failure to comply with these requirements could lead to cancelled insurance policies or increased premiums. Consider the age and condition of the home, as older homes with the original knob and tube wiring may have a high likelihood of electrical problems. Weigh the costs associated with replacing knob and tube wiring. It can be an expensive undertaking, but it's important to consider the long-term benefits of improved safety and peace of mind. The approach to knob and tube inquiries can vary among electricians. Some may test and report on the system without offering replacement services, while others may focus on quoting and replacing the knob and tube wiring when it's active. Ultimately, the best approach depends on the specific situation, as well as the electrician's capabilities and preferences. Consider a scenario where a homeowner has received a notice from their insurance company requiring an inspection of their knob and tube wiring within 30 days. In this case, a thorough inspection would be necessary to determine the extent of the active knob and tube wiring, if any. The inspection should include a visual assessment of the wiring, looking for signs of damage, deterioration, or improper modifications. Testing should be conducted to verify the integrity of the wiring and identify any potential hazards. Once the inspection is complete, a detailed report should be prepared, outlining the findings. The report should clearly state whether the knob and tube wiring is active or inactive, and if active, it should specify the locations where it is present. The report should also include recommendations for addressing any identified issues, such as replacing or bypassing the active knob and tube wiring. When providing a quote for replacement or bypass work, it's important to be transparent about the costs involved. The quote should include a breakdown of the labor and materials required, as well as any additional expenses, such as permit fees. It's also important to explain the scope of the work, so the homeowner understands what to expect. Replacing knob and tube wiring typically involves removing the old wiring and installing new wiring that meets current electrical codes. Bypassing knob and tube wiring involves disconnecting the active knob and tube wiring and installing new wiring to serve the affected circuits. In either case, it's important to ensure that the work is performed by a qualified electrician and that all applicable codes and regulations are followed. In addition to addressing the active knob and tube wiring, it's also important to address any other electrical issues that may be present in the home. This could include upgrading the electrical panel, replacing outdated receptacles, or installing ground fault circuit interrupter protection in areas where it's required. Providing the homeowner with a comprehensive electrical safety inspection can help to identify and address any potential hazards. Consider providing information regarding typical wire gauges used in residential wiring. For example, 14 American wire gauge or AUG, wire is commonly used for 15 amp circuits, while 12 AWG wire is used for 20 amp circuits. Explain the importance of using the correct wire gauge for each circuit to prevent overheating and potential fire hazards. Also discuss the different types of wiring commonly used in homes, such as non-metallic sheet cable, also known as Romex, and armored cable, also known as BX. Explain the advantages and disadvantages of each type of wiring and when they are appropriate to use. When discussing electrical panels, explain the different types of circuit breakers, such as standard breakers, ground fault circuit interrupter breakers, and arc fault circuit interrupter breakers. Explain the purpose of each type of breaker and when they are required to be used. It is essential to highlight the importance of electrical safety and the potential dangers of working with electricity. Emphasize the need to hire a qualified electrician for any electrical work and to never attempt to perform electrical work without proper training and experience. Discuss the importance of regular electrical inspections to identify and address any potential hazards before they become a problem. Also provide information on common electrical problems that could occur in homes, such as loose connections, frayed wiring, and overloaded circuits. Explain the signs that may indicate an electrical problem, such as flickering lights, tripped circuit breakers, and burning smells. Furthermore, it is beneficial to give advice on energy efficiency and how to reduce energy consumption. This could include replacing incandescent light bulbs with LED bulbs, using energy-efficient appliances, and properly insulating the home. Explain the benefits of using smart home technology to control lighting, temperature, and other electrical devices. This can help to save energy and reduce utility bills. When talking about grounding, make sure to explain the difference between equipment grounding and system grounding. Equipment grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, while system grounding helps to stabilize the voltage and prevent overvoltages. Explain the importance of properly grounding all electrical equipment and systems to prevent electric shock hazards. It is also relevant to provide information on surge protection. Explain the causes of power surges and the damage they can cause to electronic equipment. Discuss the different types of surge protectors, such as whole house surge protectors and point-of-use surge protectors. Explain the importance of using surge protectors to protect valuable electronic equipment from damage. When dealing with older homes, it's important to address the issue of asbestos. Asbestos was commonly used in older homes as insulation for wiring and other electrical components. Explain the dangers of asbestos exposure and the importance of hiring a qualified asbestos abatement contractor to remove any asbestos-containing materials. Remember to also discuss the importance of following all applicable electrical codes and regulations. Electrical codes are designed to ensure the safety of electrical installations and to prevent electrical hazards. Explain the importance of obtaining permits for electrical work and having the work inspected by a qualified electrical inspector. In addition to the technical aspects, it's also important to address the emotional aspects of dealing with electrical issues. Homeowners may be concerned about the cost of repairs, the disruption to their lives, and the safety of their families. It's important to be empathetic and understanding and to provide reassurance that the issues can be resolved safely and effectively. One should also explain the importance of having a fire escape plan in place. This includes having working smoke detectors on every level of the home and knowing how to safely evacuate in the event of a fire. Practice the fire escape plan regularly to ensure that everyone knows what to do in an emergency. Explain the dangers of carbon monoxide poisoning and the importance of having a carbon monoxide detector in the home. Carbon monoxide is a colorless, odorless gas that can be deadly. Carbon monoxide detectors can alert you to the presence of carbon monoxide so you can evacuate and call for help. Explain the importance of keeping electrical panels and other electrical equipment accessible. Do not block access to electrical panels with furniture or other items. In case of an emergency, you need to be able to quickly access the electrical panel to shut off the power. Also explain the importance of using extension cords safely. Do not overload extension cords or run them under rugs or furniture. Extension cords are intended for temporary use only. For permanent power, install additional outlets. Make sure to cover the topic of arc fault circuit interrupters, also called a size. A size are a type of circuit breaker that can detect arc faults, which are a common cause of electrical fires. Explain the benefits of installing a size in the home, especially in bedrooms and other areas where people sleep. When talking about ground fault circuit interrupters, also called GFCIs, explain that they are a type of outlet that can detect ground faults, which can cause electric shock. GFCIs are required in bathrooms, kitchens, and other areas where water is present. Also provide a discussion on lighting. Explain the different types of light bulbs, such as incandescent, fluorescent, and LED. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of each type of bulb and when they are appropriate to use. Explain the importance of using energy-efficient light bulbs to save energy and reduce utility bills. When you're at it, explain the concept of voltage drop and how it can affect the performance of electrical equipment. Voltage drop occurs when the voltage at the end of a circuit is lower than the voltage at the source. This can cause lights to dim, motors to run slowly, and other electrical equipment to malfunction. Explain the factors that can contribute to voltage drop, such as long wire runs, small wire gauges, and high current loads. Explain the importance of using the correct wire gauge to minimize voltage drop. Also talk about the importance of proper ventilation for electrical equipment. Electrical equipment generates heat, and if it's not properly ventilated, it can overheat and fail. Explain the importance of providing adequate ventilation for electrical panels, transformers, and other electrical equipment. When providing options for replacing knob and tube wiring, be sure to explain the different methods that can be used. One option is to completely remove the knob and tube wiring and replace it with new wiring. Another option is to bypass the knob and tube wiring by installing new wiring to serve the affected circuits. Explain the advantages and disadvantages of each method and when they are appropriate to use. If the homeowner chooses to bypass the knob and tube wiring, it's important to properly disconnect and terminate the old wiring. The old wiring should be disconnected from the power source and capped off to prevent it from being accidentally energized. Also, explain the importance of labeling the new wiring to indicate which circuits it serves. This will make it easier to identify the circuits in the future and prevent confusion. Furthermore, explain the importance of keeping electrical records. Keep records of all electrical work that is performed in the home, including inspections, repairs, and upgrades. These records can be helpful for future maintenance and repairs, and they may also be required for insurance purposes. Always recommend obtaining multiple quotes. Encourage homeowners to obtain multiple quotes from different electricians before making a decision. This will help to ensure that they are getting a fair price for the work. And be prepared to answer questions. Homeowners will likely have many questions about electrical work. Be prepared to answer their questions clearly and concisely. One should discuss the National Electrical Code, or NEC. The NEC is a set of standards for electrical installations in the United States. Explain the importance of following the NEC when performing electrical work. Reference specific NEC articles. For example, NEC Article 210.12 requires arc fault circuit interrupter protection for all branch circuits that supply 120-volt, single-phase, 15 and 20 amp outlets installed in dwelling units. NEC Article 250.50 requires that all grounding electrodes be bonded together to form a grounding electrode system. NEC Table 310.15b16 provides ampacity ratings for conductors based on their size and insulation type. Also discuss the importance of continuing education for electricians. Electrical technology is constantly evolving, so it's important for electricians to stay up to date on the latest codes, standards, and technologies. Encourage homeowners to hire electricians who are committed to continuing education. Review safety tips for homeowners. Never overload outlets or extension cords. Never use damaged electrical cords or equipment. Never touch electrical equipment with wet hands. Keep electrical equipment away from water. Turn off the power before working on electrical equipment. Call a qualified electrician for any electrical repairs or installations. Briefly introduce smart home technology. Smart home technology can be used to control lighting, temperature, and other electrical devices. Explain the benefits of using smart home technology to save energy, improve security, and enhance convenience. Finally, suggest energy audits. An energy audit can help homeowners identify ways to save energy and reduce their utility bills. Explain the benefits of having an energy audit performed by a qualified energy auditor. With the ever-growing demand on our aging electrical grid, it is important to have a qualified electrical contractor inspect your home's electrical system. This will ensure a safe and properly working electrical system for your family. There are many things that need to be taken into consideration with electrical systems and safety in the home. Knob and tube wiring is an outdated and potentially hazardous type of electrical wiring that was commonly used in homes built before the 1940s. It consists of single insulated wires supported by porcelain knobs and tubes. Knob and tube wiring lacks a grounding conductor, which can make it more susceptible to electrical shock and fire hazards. Also, the insulation on knob and tube wiring can deteriorate over time, which can further increase the risk of electrical problems. If knob and tube wiring is found in a home, it should be inspected by a qualified electrician to determine its condition and safety. If the wiring is in poor condition or poses a safety hazard, it should be replaced with modern wiring. Replacing knob and tube wiring can be expensive, but it's important to consider the long-term benefits of improved safety and peace of mind. Aluminum wiring was commonly used in homes built in the 1960s and 1970s. Aluminum wiring can be a fire hazard because it can corrode and loosen over time, which can lead to overheating and electrical fires. If aluminum wiring is found in a home, it should be inspected by a qualified electrician to determine its condition and safety. If the wiring is in poor condition or poses a safety hazard, it should be replaced with copper wiring. Copper wiring is more durable and less prone to corrosion than aluminum wiring. As a reminder, always follow safety guidelines. Electrical work can be dangerous, so it's important to follow safety guidelines when working with electricity. Turn off the power before working on electrical equipment. Wear appropriate safety gear, such as gloves and eye protection. Never work on electrical equipment when you are wet or tired. Call a qualified electrician for any electrical repairs or installations that you are not comfortable performing yourself. It is also important to remember that working with electricity can be dangerous, and it is always best to consult a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns. Remember to always prioritize safety.